Testing 1, 2. Let's see if this microphone's working. All right, then let's do it. All right, then. It's the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. Also, remember, check out Commanding General YAHANNA's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. There's also one on Saturday, 2 a.m. Check out both of those. Check out all the classes in the States, all the classes in the UK. Yeah, we got tons of classes in the UK, man, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. till 9. You can attend the building in Birmingham, 394 Lodge Road, B18, 5PW, 7 p.m. till 9. So we have a ton of classes for you, man. We also got the radio show on Friday on the ends. Feel free, man, to email your stories, ask your questions. If you got any questions in the class, you can ask your questions and we'll get to them. So any questions you got, you just type them in the comment section and we'll get to them. And today we're gonna go over a bit in Egypt and captivity right now and the Passover, because we got that coming up in a few weeks. So the Passover this year is in Orlando, Florida. So the Passover is coming up. So we're gonna go over that right now. Hold on, give me a second. All right, so we're gonna start off in the book of Exodus, chapter 5 and verse 1. So in the book of Exodus, chapter 5 and verse 1. Hey, Shalom, SHALAM. Hold on, give me 1
Shalom,
second.
sir.
Turn on the speakers. Say something, Ira. Let me see if I can hear.
Shalom.
Oh, yeah, most of the person can hear.
Shalom, sir. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua
Y'all watching the SHALAM. So yeah, we're gonna go over a bit about the Passover, and brothers is coming from all over the country, man, all over the world. You got Iraq coming from. Is it Rotterdam or Netherlands? I keep forgetting. Rotterdam, right?
Rotterdam, Netherlands, sir.
Yeah. So you got Iraq coming from Rotterdam. He's gonna be in Florida also. You got brothers coming from Leicester, Manchester, Birmingham, London, Jamaica, Brazil, Trinidad, all over the world to keep the Lord's Passover, man. So brothers is coming from all over, and some of us is going to meet each other for the first time. Brothers that you only see on YouTube, you're actually going to see them in the flesh at the Passover, man. And that's what we got coming up, man. This world tries to keep us divided, so obviously they put certain obstacles in the way to stop us from attending the Passover. They put certain obstacles in the way to stop us from seeing our brothers and whatnot. So there's certain things will happen, like your car will start breaking down, or your funds will go and you need to buy something else, or all of these things is distractions to get you from attending the Passover. And it happens every year. Every year, something expensive breaks that you have to replace. Something happens so that you say, oh, I can't attend the Lord's Passover. But the Lord's Passover is the law, so we should attend it. The only way we can't attend it is if there's no flights or nothing. As long as there's planes and we can get a ticket, then we should be there, man. But obviously, everyone's situation is different. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah. You got a book?
Yeah. That's like the 13th, and come back on the 19th.
So you come on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hold on, you come back Monday, but you get back Tuesday. You mean? So you
No,
leave on the
no,
Monday.
We leave on the 13th, Wednesday, and we come back on the 19th, the Tuesday, at 7 o'clock. The flight is 7 o'clock in the evening, Tuesday night.
Okay, so you got there extra day. Was it cheaper that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it cheaper though? Because you got to pay extra night. But it works out anyway. But listen, man. All the go ahead.
We sit and do the exam.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, so you can do it out there. You can do it in there.
We-
I got Ira on there. Sorry, you can do it in there or here. Oh, you can do it on that table there if you want. So Ira, give me Exodus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Got it, sir.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Let me go. Hold on. Let me see if that's where I want to start. Give me. All right, go to start at give me Exodus chapter 4 and verse start from verse 21. So we'll start from Exodus verse 21 where we get a little bit of the backdrop.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 4 and verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest, return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh.
The Lord told Moses what to do in front of Pharaoh. And Moses was a little wary, like, the people's not going to believe me. So the Lord showed these signs so Moses could see, okay, then, this is the Lord saying, do these things. So he showed Moses certain signs like, put your hand in your bosom, take it out. What's that in your rod in your hand? Do this, do that. Showed them little signs like that. Go ahead. Because obviously Moses at the time was kind of weary, like, they're not going to believe me. Like, almost sounded like he didn't want to go and do it. Why? Because he thought the people wasn't going to believe him. He thought the people wasn't going to listen. And the Lord was basically like, look, man, there's no excuses. Show them this sign, show them this sign. Go ahead.
Another one come. Which I have put in thy hand, but I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
And the Lord said, I'm going to take you to the white man, no, so like it to Pharaoh, and I'm going to harden his heart that he will not let you go. So listen, man, us like trying to save white people, there's no point, man. Their hearts is hardened, man. Listen, no matter what Moses done, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. Why? Because he didn't want Pharaoh to let the people go that time. He wanted to show his power by destroying Pharaoh. And the white man's heart's been hardened, man. You're thinking he's going to have a change of heart and automatically love you. It's not going to happen, man. He's an evil, wicked man, and his heart is hardened. And you trying to love him, it makes no sense, man. What you should be doing is we should be loving each other and preparing for the Lord to do a mass exodus like he did in the book of Exodus, man. Because the same situation we was in Egypt, captivity, oppressed at the bottom, we found ourselves in that same situation, man. But 10 times worse. We found ourselves in that same situation that we was in Egypt. Why? Because we are those people that was in Egypt, man. We are those people that was in Egypt that walked through the Red Sea. We are those people. Read on. We are those people that was ruled over by an oppressor, and we're being ruled over by an oppressor again, man. We're in Egypt right now, man. Go ahead. It was Egypt back then, and this is Egypt right now, which means what? Bondage. And that's where we found in bondage, in slavery. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
And we those sons of God's, man. Israel is my son, even my firstborn, man. Listen, that's us. We the sons of God, man. We the sons and daughters of God, man. That's us. And you're abusing God's children right now every time you abuse us, man. And the Lord said to Moses, say, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And I say unto thee, let my son go,
He said,
that he
let my son
might.
go. Now I said, let my son go, but these people don't respect the Lord and they don't respect the Lord's sons. So they ain't gonna let you go. The oppressor that we're under right now ain't gonna let us go. The oppressor that we was under back then ain't gonna let us go. And the Lord's telling this oppressor who he is and who we are. He said, Israel is my son, meaning we precious to the Lord, man. We the Lord's chosen, we his firstborn. We chosen. He's saying, let them go. And Pharaoh didn't want to hear it, man. Go ahead.
And
And
that they might serve
the Lord
me.
didn't say, here the Lord didn't say everybody was his son. The Lord said, Israel is my son, man. Because not all nations is the children of God. Only the Israelites are the children of God. The other children, the other nations, they're just the children of the flesh. They're just, here. But they ain't the sons of God. Go ahead.
That he might serve me.
Let him go that he might
And
serve me, man. And these oppressors don't want to let us go because they don't want us to serve the Lord, man. The white man don't want to do what? Give us holiday to go to the Passover. Why? Because he don't want us to serve the Lord. The Egyptians didn't want to let them go. Why? Because they didn't want them to serve the Lord. They want us to serve them. They want to be our Lord. The oppressor, he wants to be our one and only Lord. He wants us to serve him. And us working for him and being a good slave for him is more important to him than us going and serving our God. Because he believes that he's our God. All these other nations that rule over us, they believe that they're our God and we must serve them. They believe that we don't have a God, and this is why when you say that God's a black man, people look at you like, huh? There ain't no such thing as a black God. Guess what? Gods can be every color apart from black. According to the rest of the world, gods can be Arab, they can be white, they can be Chinese. But as soon as you say your God's black, everyone tells you, no, 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 you better serve our God. Your God can't be black. Whereas, why? Because they look at themselves as your God. All these other nations want to be our gods, not realizing that we have our God, man. Read on. And we're going to find out about our God as we keep reading on. Go ahead.
And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son,
And
even thy firstborn.
if you refuse to let us go, the Lord said he's going to slay your son, even your firstborn. The Lord was giving them Egyptians warnings, and a white man given a warning by the Lord, man. Stop oppressing us, and they don't listen, man. So the Lord's going to slay them also. The Lord gives ultimatums, man. He said, you either let them go, or I'm going to slay your son. The Egyptians had an ultimatum. They didn't want to hear it. This oppressor that we ruled over by today, who rules over us today, he's had an ultimatum. He don't want to hear it, man. Read on.
Another one come. And it came to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord made him and sought to kill him.
Hold on. What verse
Then
you at? What verse
I'm
you
at
at?
verse 24, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Read that again.
And it came to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and
Obviously,
cast it.
this is going into Moses' son. The Lord was going to slay him, and she had to quickly circumcise him. So she took a stone, cut off his foreskin. Why? Because circumcision is our covenant with the Lord. So that's why she took that. She sinned. The Lord was about to slay him, and she circumcised her son there on the spot. Go ahead.
And cast it at his feet, and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Go ahead.
So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art. because of the circumcision.
Go ahead. And if she didn't do that
And,
circumcision, her son would have died, so she had to circumcise him right there on the spot with a stone. Go ahead.
and the Lord said to Aaron, go into the wilderness and meet Moses. And he went and he met him in the mountain of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who
Go
had
ahead.
sent him, and all the sign which he had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron went and gathered and gather together all the elders of the children of Israel.
Moses is
And
talking about them signs with Aaron, and they gathered all the elders of Israel. Like Moses didn't speak to all Israel individually; he spoke to the elders of Israel. So people thinking now, yeah, you can just speak direct to the Lord. It doesn't work that way, man. It don't work that way, man. While it is Moses spoke with the elders of Israel, meaning brothers from each tribe, and then what they would do, they'll go back to their tribe and relay the message down to them, and who'd pass it down to them, and who'd pass it down, and it was passed down the ranks. It's not like now where you can go on YouTube. Whereas obviously if Moses was around in this day and age, it would be YouTube, so you could hear what he says directly. Nowadays, back then, it was passed down and down and down because obviously they didn't have no TVs and YouTube and none of this internet that we have today. Go ahead.
council. And it's like and the people believed, and
And the
when
people,
they
go ahead.
heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel, and
And
that
listen,
he,
the time is coming when the Lord is going to visit the children of Israel again, man. The Lord has visited the children of Israel. How? By sending the I.S.U.P.K, man. The Lord has visited the children of Israel. What do you think we do camps for? Why do you think we give out flyers and all these things? Why?
that's
To
right.
show that you have a God, man. To show that there is a God that loves you. Once upon a time in the world, we was without the Lord, man. And now the Lord has visited the children of Israel to redeem us. Once upon a time, we was in Egypt without the Lord, and the Lord visited the people, man. And when the Lord visits us, what does he do? He visits us and destroys what's in our path, man. Just takes us away from the hand of our enemies by destroying them. It ain't no asking nicely. Let's see if the Lord asked Pharaoh nicely, man. Read on. The Lord gave Pharaoh ultimatums. Pharaoh didn't want to follow them, and he had to get removed out of the way. Go ahead.
Uh, heard, and that he had looked upon their affliction,
And that he have what?
and that he had looked upon their affliction.
Looked upon their afflictions and their burdens, man. Look, what the certain things we go through in life, and we think no one's there and no one knows what we're going through. Listen, man, the Lord looks at our afflictions. The thing is this: the Lord can hear us if only we serve Him. The question is, we don't want to serve Him, man. The Lord looks on our burdens, looks on our afflictions, and all of those kind of things. The Lord looks upon those things. But obviously, we think, okay, we can do it our own way. We think we can do these things without the Lord and all of those kind of things. It doesn't work that way, man. We must serve the Lord. And then when the Lord looks in our afflictions, the Lord will remove what's in the way, man. Whoever's oppressing us and harming us, the Lord will remove them out the way, man. Read on.
Then they bowed their head and worshipped.
And that's what we need to do. Come back to the Lord, man. We need to humble ourselves and come back to the Lord. That's what we need to do, man. Because we have a God who we must serve, and He ain't gonna let you serve 2 gods and 3 gods and 4 gods. We have to serve the Lord and Him only, man. Go ahead.
This is Exodus chapter 5 and verse 1. And
Go ahead.
after Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus said the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness.
Went into Pharaoh, man. This is like a regular black man today walking into 10 Downing Street and saying, let my people go so they can hold a feast to the Lord. Whereas these oppressors is puffed up. They're going to look at you like, who are you? Who are you to speak to us like this? You're our slaves, man. And they ain't going to let you go, man. Even when you want time off from your slavery, you have to request it like 3 months in advance. And they have the right to turn it down. They have the right to say, no, you're not going on annual leave. All of those kind of things, man. Because why they're proud and they rule over us. And we have to beg them for a little time off. So much that when you are sick from work, you're scared to call in sick because of what they're going to think. You're scared to call in sick. They tell you, oh, what's wrong with you? Coming to work. If you're sick, I'll decide and send you home. I've heard them say that as well. Some people phone in sick and they say, right, if you're sick, come into work, and if you're that bad, I'll send you home. That sounds like a waste of time. Like, what do you want me to do? Come to work and vomit all over the floor. So I must come to work, vomit all over the floor just to go home anyway. Listen, man, these oppressors is puffed up and proud, and they want to rule all the way over us, and they don't want to give us no leeway, no nothing. And that's why Moses went in there and said, the Lord said, let his people go. Why? Because the Egyptians had a tight grip on the Lord's people, man. They had a tight grip on the Lord's people. They forced us to work, forced us to do all the horrible jobs, forced us into a form of captivity. Go ahead.
Another one come. Verse 2. And Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that
Pharaoh
I
said,
should obey?
and that's one of the proudest comments ever. He said, who is the Lord that I should obey him? What Pharaoh's basically saying is, look, I'm God, man. Same thing the white man says today. I'm God. You can't tell me nothing. I'm God. And that's how they feel, man. In their spirit, they believe that they're God. In their spirit, they believe that they have all the answers and that they can do whatever they want. In their mind, they believe that they can harm, kill, harass, and lock black people up for no reason, and there's no consequences. They believe that they can get away with whatever, man. Like these nations bully us, man, because why? They see we got no military, they see we got no power structure, they see we got no government or whatever. So what do? They bully black people, man. But the thing is this, man. Little did they know we have a God, man, who fights for us. The Egyptians thought they could bully the Israelites, and look what happened to them. We're gonna read on and see what happened to them, man. And this is gonna happen to all these oppressors that try to bully us. We don't need to raise a finger, man. The Lord is gonna do it for us. The Lord is gonna do it for us, man. Read on.
That I should obey his voice to let
And he said,
Israel go.
He said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? Because Pharaoh thought he was God, man. Pharaoh thought he was the black man's God. Pharaoh thought you Israelites better serve me because I'm your God. And I want you to make pyramids and build all of these stuff. I want you to do that. I'm your God. You're gonna do as I say. And that's how the white man thinks today. In his mind, he says in his mind, I'm black people's God, and they're gonna do as I say. So they don't want you to go serve nothing else. Moses said, let the people go so they can keep a feast to the Lord in the wilderness. Meaning what? Moses gone to Pharaoh to say that to him because Pharaoh was in a position of authority at that time. Read on. And Pharaoh decides he ain't letting them people go. Read on.
I know not the Lord, neither
Listen,
will I let Israel go.
I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. Meaning Pharaoh didn't respect the Lord, man. Pharaoh didn't care. He didn't respect your God. And he didn't respect us. And he goes, neither will I let the people go. Read on.
Verse 3. And they say, the God of the Hebrew hath met with us.
And then the God of the Hebrews have met with us, here to be distinctive. Why? Because at the time there was so much gods that they was worshipping. The Egyptians was worshipping tons of gods. So now, when Moses is going to the people, in their mind, they're probably thinking, oh, just another God. Just another God. So Moses had to be distinctive, the God of the Hebrews, letting them Egyptians know, us and you don't have the same God. Us and you have a completely different God. Your God allows you to have tattoos and threesomes and be homosexuals. Your God allows you to do that, man. The God of the Hebrews don't allow you to do that, man. The God of the Hebrews has morals, man, and has laws and all of those things. Whereas the God of the Egyptians,
like I said, 1 second.
No, sir. The God of the Egyptians, there's no laws, there's no morals. You can do whatever feels good, man. Whatever makes you sleep at night, you're free to do it, man. Whatever turns you on, you're free to do it, man. With them Egyptian gods, you do anything you like. But with the God of the Hebrews, there's rules, man. And when Moses is letting them know, the God of the Hebrews met with us, man. Meaning our God met with us. Because in Pharaoh's mind, he's probably thinking, these Hebrews have no God. We're their God because we have them in slavery. Understand this. There's a God of the Hebrews, man. There's a God of the Israelites, man. And he destroys all these other fake gods. He destroys all these other nations. He sends the earthquakes and the hurricanes. He sends the famines and all of those things and the rain and all those things on the earth. Our God does all of it, man. Read on.
Canada won't come. Let us go, we pray thee. 3 days journey into the desert.
All they wanted was 3 days off, man. Pharaoh should have let them have them 3 days. All they wanted was 3 days off into the desert, man, so they can go and serve their Lord. And Pharaoh weren't having a word of it. Pharaoh wasn't going to give them no time off. Pharaoh's mind is these niggas ain't going nowhere. These niggas got work to do, man. Kind of like your boss at work says to you, you can't have no time off work in December because they want to celebrate Christmas. Listen, man, imagine if you wanted to go to Jamaica in December because it's cheaper. You can't even go. Why? Because your boss at work, he wants you working hard for the Christmas period. He wants you doing all of that slavery so much that you can't even imagine this. You accumulate your holidays. You should be able to take them whenever you want to take them, man. Most jobs tell you can't take a holiday in December. This man is the devil, man. And Pharaoh done the same thing. You want your 3 days journey, and Pharaoh said, "You ain't getting no 3 days journey, man. You ain't getting no rest. You ain't stopping from your work because work needs to be done." Go ahead.
Canada won't come. And sacrifice unto the Lord our God.
And
Lest he
listen, we pray thee, let us go 3 days journey and sacrifice unto the Lord our God. Go ahead.
lest he fall upon us with pestilence.
With pestilence. And we need to go serve the Lord, man. We need to go keep the Lord's Passover, man. We need to go keep the Lord's Passover and then provoke the Lord to make moves for us, man. That's what we need to do. Obviously, we can't be, full of excuses of why we can't go to the Passover, why we can't do this, why we can't do that. Yeah, is it expensive? It is expensive, man. And this is why we be saving from the whole for the whole year. Like from the Passover, from we get from one Passover, it's best to start saving for the next one, man. So next time it comes, you can book your flight as soon as possible and get it for cheaper. Get it dirt cheap. But obviously, us being niggas, we leave it till last minute. That's Ariella. Leave it till the last minute. We leave it till the last minute, and now we paid what quadruple. Listen, man. You see, earlier when I first looked, I seen some for £300. Now we ended up paying double because we left it so late, man. Read on Ira.
Canada won't answer. Or with the sword.
And he said, let us go serve the Lord before the Lord. So like I said, go ahead. Oh, is this all right? No, sir. And the Lord, and he said, let us go serve the Lord before the Lord falls upon us with the sword. And Pharaoh didn't care that, you could drop dead if you don't go journey in this desert for 3 days. Pharaoh didn't care. And Moses saying, yo, let us go before the Lord fall on us with pestilence or falls on us with the sword. Go ahead.
Canada won't answer. Verse 4.
And in the white man's mind, it seems like we would say that to him today. Let us go serve the Lord before he falls on us with the sword. And the white man would say, well, I'll fall on you with the sword if you don't serve me. So who are you going to serve, the Lord or the white man? Listen, man, you rather go serve the Lord, man, because the Lord will fall on the white man with the sword, man. The thing is this, the white man, he can't fall on the Lord with the sword. He can't harm you unless the Lord wants him to, man. We should go and serve the Lord and stop serving all these other nations and putting them first and all these things. Go ahead.
Canada won't come. And the king of Egypt say unto them, wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their work?
Listen, man. Pharaoh said, yo, you see that holiday request that you put in to go to the Passover? It's denied, man. He said, yo, that holiday request, that leave you put in, that annual leave, it's denied, man. Work needs to be done. That's what Pharaoh said. Today, you try putting your annual leave, and they deny it, man. Say, oh, you ain't gave enough times notice. Listen, man. I put in my holiday to go to the Passover, and they still ain't approved it, man. But listen, I'm going regardless, man. How it's gonna work is either you take heed to me putting in my annual leave, or I'm still not coming in anyway. So it's one or the other, man. Either you go get some cover, because I won't be there anyway. Me giving you notice of me putting in my holiday, whether you accept it or not, I'm going regardless. I'm just giving you notice that I'm going. This notice ain't for me waiting for you to approve it. This notice is more me letting you know that I'm going, letting you know that I'm going regardless. Imagine that you put in a holiday and they try and deny it. Listen, I'm going regardless, man. And that's what we should do. We should go regardless. Don't let no white man tell you ain't going here and there. You can't keep the Lord's Passover because cotton needs to be picked at your slavery and all of them things. So what? You're gonna be picking cotton forever, man. Guess what? That slavery is gonna be there when we get back, man. It's gonna be there when we get back if the Lord don't destroy this place. But I read on.
Canada one answer. Get you onto your burdens.
And he said to the people, get back to your work, man. It's like the people are eavesdropping in 3 days feast. Pharaoh said, get back to your burdens, man. Pharaoh looked at your holiday request form, ripped it up and said, get back to your work, man. Pharaoh said, you ain't going home early today. You ain't doing this. You ain't going on no vacation, man. Read on. You ain't going on no 3 days journey, man. Request denied, man. That's what Pharaoh said. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens.
And this is why with these jobs, they don't like to give you a break, man. They just want you there week in. Because they don't want you to have time to think, man. They don't want you to have time to think, yo, something ain't right. They don't want you to have time to think, you know what? There's more to life than this work nonsense. They don't want you to think that, man. So they just keep giving you loads of work. He said the people of the land are many. He don't want those people to come together. We are many. They don't want us to come together. So they divide us any way they can. Read on.
Canada one count. Verse 5. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens.
Meaning this man didn't even want to give you a rest, man. They want to give you no rest from the slavery, no nothing. He didn't want you to rest from them burdens. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmaster of the people.
And now Pharaoh commanded the same thing, the taskmasters of the people and their officers, meaning what? At your job, you have a supervisor and a manager. So then Pharaoh would put a taskmaster over you, which was like what? A supervisor. And listen, some of the supervisors they put over us on the job is the biggest coons going, man. They're worse than the white man on the job. Some of the biggest coons going, man. Read on. Why do we call them jobsworths, man? Some of them are the biggest jobsworths ever. Go ahead.
And their officers, saying, ye shall no more give the people straw to make bricks.
So now it made it hard for them. It made it harder for them before they had those completing the work. And they always put us in more uncomfortable positions, man. They put us in the most uncomfortable positions ever. Because why? They want you to work harder, man. They don't want you to have time to think. They don't want to give you time to think about nothing. All you have to do is focus on doing this job. All you have to do is focus on doing this work. That's all they want your whole focus to be. Like when they see that you're a threat, what do they do? Increase the workload. When they see that you're a threat, what do they do? Distract you. That's what they always do, man. They always use that tactic. Go ahead.
Canada one can. And there you shall.
I think it was at verse 7.
Answer. I did lost it for a bit there. As here therefore, let them go and gather straw for themselves.
It said, let them go and gather straw for themselves. Meaning back then they'll provide the straw. Obviously, you was excelling at that work. And Pharaoh said, all right then, Moses wants to free these niggas. Why are we going to make it harder now? Let them go gather the straw for themselves. They had it easy. Because they're asking too much questions, let's make it harder for them. They always do that. The oppressor does it. It's a tactic that they use. One man will try and free black people. And what do? They make it harder. And then who do you take the problem out on? That black man. Like we moaned at Moses when really we should have moaned at Pharaoh, man. Read on.
Verse 8. And the tail of the brick which they did make, therefore ye shall lay upon them.
Meaning give them more work. Give them more work to do. And they're always giving us work. So much that we can't think, man. So much that what? Straight after work, what do we go? Go home and fall asleep, man. Go home, go to bed, wake up, same thing again. Go to bed, wake up, same thing again. That's what we find ourselves doing our whole life, man. Just working. And then you get to 70, 80 years old. You look back at your life and you say, damn, my whole life's been spent working. I didn't achieve nothing, just work. It's not about how much years you live, man. It's about what you do with them years that you live. And what you've done with the years that you lived is just been a slave, man. It's just worked for a nation that don't appreciate you, for a nation that don't love you. Listen, man, you're better off not working a day in your life and serving the Lord, man. At least you've done something. At least you've done something which profits your nation, man. By raising brothers up. At least you've done something that profits your nation. But why are you working for these oppressors and serving them and being the best worker in the world for them and being happy about being the employee of the month? You're just a good slave, man. Listen, man, if you're the employee of the month, it just says that to me, I don't know what it says, but I ain't never had that employee of the month. What the hell does that even mean, man? Employee of the month, that means you're punctual, you're on time, you're the manager's pet. Listen, man, employee of the month sounds like a slap in the face to me, man. What I do accept is I don't accept a letter that says employee of the month. I accept a pay rise. That's what I would rather.
Yeah,
give me a pay rise. That's my language. My love language is my love language is money. That's it. You just put some extra money in my bank account. Don't give me no letter that says employee of the month. And the white man gives you these little things in hope. And in your mind, it means one day I could become a manager. One day I could run this building. Listen, man, you ain't never gonna run that building, man. You ain't never gonna become the manager. What you'll find is most jobs, the managers, everyone that they make managers is lazy, man. I mean, they're not gonna make you their hardest worker become manager, because what does it mean? It means you ain't gonna do work no more. So they need to keep you as a worker and make the lazy man a manager. And the lazy man happens to be the white man. That's why they make him the manager. But when it comes to us, we hard workers. So they have you doing the groundwork, man. And they say, you know what? This man's lazy. Let's just make him the manager so he can oversee the rest of them that actually work hard. You think working harder is going to get you a better position? No, it doesn't work that way, man. This devil is very slick. You do all the hard work, the back-breaking work. Imagine a manager leaves and you're thinking, yes, I can apply for the position. If they bring in someone from outside of that workplace to be the manager, it means they don't even consider you, man. They don't even consider giving you a position. And that happens to us a lot. We overlooked and stepped over and whatnot. It happens all the time, man. We think, yeah, because if I do this work, I'll get manager's position. It don't work like that, man. There's certain jobs where they can't even have a black face as the manager, because in their mind, nobody respects black people. So you just have, they don't tell you this, but that's what it is. They'd rather have some white person that does no work as the manager. Meanwhile, you do all the work. Meanwhile, you do the manager's jobs. Listen, man. At your slavery, man, when someone makes a complaint, this is what you do. You call the manager, man. Say, don't worry, I'll call the manager to deal with it. You don't deal with no problems yourself. That's not your job. Make the manager do some work, man. These managers is lazy. They have you doing their job as well. They have you doing their job when really it's not your job. Call the managers for anything that don't concern you, man. Anything outside of the job role, oh, I don't know, I'll call the manager. Something at working, I don't know, I'll call the manager. That's what they're paid for, man. Use them and let them do some work, because they have you doing all the work while they're upstairs drinking coffee and you're working this back-breaking job, man. Happens at most slaveries, but I read on IRA.
Ye shall not diminish or therefore, for they shall not diminish out. I don't know
It's
what
saying
that word.
their work shall not diminish, meaning they've took away the resources that helped you get the job done, and they've made it harder, but the work shall not diminish. And that's what they done after COVID, man. They got rid of tons of workers, and they've got just a few workers there, and they still want that same amount of work. They want one man to do 5 jobs. They don't want that work to diminish. Listen, man, we thought on furlough, yeah, we at home relaxing, free money. Now you're realizing it wasn't free money, man, because they have you doing 5 people's jobs, and now they don't want that work to diminish, man. They want you to carry out that same amount of work that was being done before COVID came, when you had 6 people doing the one job. Now they got one person doing 6 people's jobs. Read on.
For they be idle.
For they be
Therefore,
what?
for they be idle.
For they be idle. They don't want black people to be idle, man. They're saying, yo, you lot better do some work. They say when we're idle, we start thinking about going on a 3-day journey. They say when we're idle, we start thinking about going to the Passover. They don't want you to be idle. They just want to give you work. Go ahead.
Therefore, they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God.
Read on.
Verse 9. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that
Said,
they
lay
may
more work
lay.
upon them. He said, lay more work upon them, man. And they always lay work upon us. Listen, man, I don't know if you've ever worked at somewhere like DPD. That work is never ending, man. Listen, I worked at DPD for a day. Officer Crawford said, yo, there's jobs going at DPD because he done it for like, I think about a week or two. Listen, I done it for a day, and they made me pick up some heavy boxes. And I remember the cage was broke. So you know where they have all the boxes on the cage? The cage was broke. So everyone was pulling cages. Their cage was fine. My cage was broke. The woman started shouting like, move that cage. I said, yo, the wheel's broke. And she started shouting. She don't care. I was young back then, about what? 17, 18 back then. So obviously, you know, when the manager speaks to you in a certain way, obviously she couldn't do that now, because obviously I wouldn't stand for it. But back then, who knows? I might, walk up to her like Will Smith, and who knows, give her one of those Will Smiths. Who knows? I might give her a Will Smith if she done it today. I might give her a Will Smith today. But I was young back then, so they shouted at us to move the cage. The wheel was broke. So as I'm pulling the cage, it's scraping on the floor. Like you can hear the scrape on the floor, and the boxes is all falling out. Listen, man, that was a back-breaking job. I done that job for 1 day. I went home. I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills, but I said, you know what? I'd rather the bailiffs come around than me not. I'd rather the bailiffs come around and take everything than me work there, man. These times I had a car to pay for. I was I think I just turned 18 or 19. I can't remember. That was the worstest job ever, man. Listen, some of these back-breaking jobs you don't have to do, man. Apply for something. What you want to do is try and get maximum money for the easiest job. That's the best advice I can give you. Try and find the easiest job where you get maximum money. Because some of these back-breaking jobs, when your back goes lifting up them boxes without the correct equipment. Listen, man, they wanted us to pick up all the boxes because the pump truck wasn't working, and they wanted it done at the same speed as if you had the pump truck. Same thing. Same thing that Pharaoh wants. Pharaoh wants to take away the equipment and still wants the same amount of work done. And this oppressor operates the same way as Pharaoh did. Go ahead.
That they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words.
Let them what?
And let them not regard vain words.
Read on.
Verse 10. And the taskmaster of the people went out, and their officers, and they speak to the people, saying, thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go
And now
ye.
they went back to the people and said, Pharaoh said, I will not give you straw. Go ahead.
Go ye, get your straw where you can find it.
Imagine this. They're not telling you where to get the straw from. They're saying get the straw where you can find it, man. Get the straw where you can find it, meaning go and search for it. You have to go out of your way and look for it, man. And this sounds like the oppressor today. He gives you some dumb rules on the job. Do this. Listen, most jobs you go to, they don't even give you proper training, man. You go there without a clue. They don't give you proper training whatsoever. Or I've noticed when you go to a job, the manager doesn't train you. He let some black person on the job who's been doing the job for years train you, and it's not their job to train you, man. Listen, man. Listen. At my slave, when someone needs training, I refuse to do it, man. I say I'm not the supervisor. Any questions, I'm not the supervisor. Anything to ask, I'm not the supervisor. Listen, man, I ain't doing no work with changing my job description no more, man. I've been breaking my back for years, man. And I'm starting to feel it in the mornings now, Quattazar, when you get out of bed. I'm starting to feel it in my lower back now, all this hard work that I've been giving them. They ain't getting no more hard work out of me, man. I'm getting up there in age. My lower back is all stiff. Listen, man. Read on Ira.
Kan er een kans hoor.
What verse?
Yet not, I'm at verse 11. At
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yet not out of your work shall be diminished.
Same amount of work carried out. We need to hurry up and get out of slavery, man. That's what we need to do. We need to get out of slavery so what? We can have people working for us, and we're going to say to them, I don't want none of the work diminished. This is the thing. You're going to be cutting down sugarcane. One day I'm going to give you the chopper. The next day you're not going to have the chopper. And I'm going to say, make sure the work don't diminish. I'm going to want that sugar. I don't know how you're going to cut that sugarcane down without the chopper, but I don't want the work diminished. One day I'm going to give you the chopper for like a month. Let you get used to using it. And then after that, you're gonna have to go out and find the chopper and cut it somehow. I'm gonna say the same thing Pharaoh said to us. And I don't want none of the work diminished. I want the same amount of work carried out in the same amount of hours. Go ahead.
Verse 12. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt. Together, they were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt.
And the people scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
Together, stubble instead of straw.
So now they're searching for it to spread it out all over Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. Why? Because Pharaoh made it harder for them. Because Moses said, let the people go. Moses tried to make their life easier, saying, let the people go. Pharaoh tried to make our life harder. And what did we do? We didn't look at the bigger picture. We should have said, well, Moses is trying to make our life easier. We should follow him. Instead, we got mad at Moses for trying to make our life easier. And was on Pharaoh's side who was trying to make our life harder. These people started complaining to Moses saying, yo, because of you, yeah, you got us beaten and whatnot. Read on. We're going to get to that part in a bit, though.
And the taskmaster hastened them, saying, fulfill your work, your daily task, as when there was straw.
To fulfill your daily task, like when there was straw. Go ahead.
And the officer of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmaster had set over them,
So now
were
Israelites over them. Go ahead.
were beaten and demanded.
They beat them because they didn't fulfill the works. They beat them, man. Imagine you took away the straw, and this is the thing, man. These nations hate us so much. They do things purposely knowing we can't work without them things. They knew they had it in their mind. Let's take the straw because we know they can't produce that same amount of work. And they dealt wisely with them. Okay, when they don't produce that amount of work, let's beat them. That's what they did. Go ahead.
And demanded, wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making bricks?
The reason we ain't done our task is because you took the straw away from us, stupid. Oh, this is stupid. You took the straw away from us. How you expect us to work, produce the same amount of work, and you've took all the stuff that we used to do the work from us? Go ahead.
In making bricks, both yesterday and the day and today, as heretofore. Verse 15. Then the officer of the children of Israel came and cried unto the Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with the servants?
So now we went crying to Pharaoh. Go ahead. Saying, why are you dealing with the servants like this? Like how we always go crying to the white man all the time. We go crying to him. Oh, Black Lives Matter. No justice, no peace. We go crying to him, man. Whereas we should just go crying to the Lord. Instead of us crying to a man that can't hear and a man that don't want to hear and a man that don't listen, why don't we go crying to the Lord? Someone who does hear, someone who does listen, someone who will hear our prayers, man, and destroy all our oppressors, man. That's who we should go crying to. Don't go crying to the same people that's oppressing us. They're the ones that's putting you in that situation, man. They like to hear your cries because once they hear your cries, guess what they know? They know, well, what we're doing is working. They're crying to us, so what we're doing is working. How about you cry to the Lord, man? And then the Lord will destroy them. But because we give the strength that we should give to the Lord, we give it to these other nations. The Lord ain't going to do what? Move anytime soon. Why? Because if the Lord does make a move, we're going to give all the credit to these other nations. And the Lord wants all the credit. That's why the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, man. So we can see how the Lord rose and serve him and give him all the credit. But that wasn't even enough for us to give the Lord all the credit. Afterwards, we gave the credit to some golden calf and some nonsense in the wilderness. Go ahead.
Canada one can. Verse 16. Therefore is no straw given unto thy servants, and they say to us, Make bricks. And behold, the servants are beaten, but the fault is in thine own people. But he said, You are idle, ye are idle. Therefore ye say, Let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord.
Go ahead.
Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you. Yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks.
Go ahead.
And the officer of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case. After it
Now,
was said,
and now, Pharaoh done this to make the people hate Moses. So when a black man comes and tries to free black people, these other nations turn you against that brother trying to free you. So same like they do the same thing with us all the time. We be out there trying to raise Israel up. What happens? Some white man comes, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. They don't have jobs. And then what happens? Black people that are scared, they come up to us and say, you shouldn't say this about the white man because they're gonna start killing us. They're gonna start. Listen, before we started saying anything, they was already killing us, man. They was already killing us before we started saying anything. The reason we are saying
right,
something is killing us. The only reason we're speaking is because they're killing us, man. Maybe if they wasn't killing us, then maybe we wouldn't say nothing. But they was killing us before we started speaking. So don't give me that. Don't say that because they're gonna kill us. They was killing us before we said anything, man. They've been killing us for thousands of years, man. Before we said a word. So what difference does it make if we speak or don't speak? They're gonna kill us if we speak or if we don't speak. At least now we're just letting them know they're the devil, man. Before they kill us, at least they go to bed knowing that they're the devil, man. At least they wake up out of their sleep knowing that they're the devil, knowing that there's a punishment coming their way. That's all we ask. They wake up out of their sleep. They have a scary dream, wake up out of their sleep and be like, oh, I thought that dream was real. Knowing that one day that dream they just had is going to be real, man. One day that dream they had of them picking cotton is going to be real. One day that dream they had of them, of Jesus Christ, the black man coming with a sword and chasing them through the ghetto is going to be real, man. It's going to be real. One day you don't have to see no police stations in your neighborhood where they lock people up and kill black people. Listen, man. Imagine this: the lock black people in the police station, beat them up. Some of them don't even make it out the police station, and their excuses are they died by themselves. Listen, man. We will never get the answers to those things, but the Lord will give us the answers, man. One day the Lord's coming back with all the answers. All the answers we always wanted, the Lord's got them answers for us, man. And them answers the answers to them questions is what? Jesus Christ and all them angels, man. That's the answers to them questions. Jesus Christ and all them angels. Read on.
Another one answer. After it was said, ye shall not manage out from your bricks of your daily task. And they met Moses and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came from Pharaoh.
And Moses and
And
Aaron
they
was there.
said,
What verse you at?
I'm at verse 22.
Go ahead.
Going on 21. And they say unto them, the Lord look upon you and judge, because ye have made all
And now
our...
the Israelites mad at Moses. There was like, the Lord look upon you and judge, because now they're basically saying, Moses, because you opened your mouth, you've got us beaten, and now we got no straw to carry out our works. They're saying, Moses, it's your fault now. You trying to, in Moses' mind, Moses is trying to free black people, and black people's blaming him for them getting beaten. Whereas they could have said, well, the Egyptians is the ones beating us. They could have said, the Egyptians is the ones beating us. And they should have told the Lord to judge the Egyptians, man. But they're like to Moses, the Lord judge between you and whatnot. Whereas Moses is just trying to free black people like what we do. The thing is this, in slavery, when a slave would run away to save his life, he'd run away to save his life. Why? Because he's tired of being oppressed. He's tired of being beaten. What would the slave master do? Come and beat everybody else in the plantation, burn down the houses that he's staying in. And then what would that make you do? That would make you hate the man that ran away and blame the man that ran away. It's his fault why this happened to us. Whereas we don't ever stop and say, it's this man's fault who beat us, man. This man is the man with the matchsticks that set the thing on fire. We don't ever blame them. We blame the black man that ran away to save his life. He's just trying to save his life. He's running away because he knows it's wrong for him to be a slave. But instead of blaming the white man when they was burning down the plantation houses, who do we blame? Our brother. Not realizing this white man didn't have to beat you for somebody else running away. This brother running away, he's doing that on his own accord, but they come and beat you to teach all of us a lesson, to put fear in us. And then that makes the next black man that wants to run away, it makes him not run away. Why? Because he knows they're going to beat the rest of you. And then he knows his very own people's going to blame him and condemn him and say it's his fault why they got beaten. When really, blame the man that actually beat you, man. Blame the man that actually had the matchsticks and set the thing on fire. It's his fault. Read on.
Because ye have made our savor to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, wherefore hast thou so evil entreated this people?
And then Moses went back to the Lord and said, damn, Lord, why have you treated these people like this? But the Lord said to Moses, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart so he don't let you go. So the Lord's doing all these things, man. So let these nations keep oppressing us, because they're going to keep oppressing us. And their heart's been hardened for sure, man. Listen, man, black people's been trying to love the white man for 400, 500 years, and he ain't responded yet. It ain't tugged at his heartstrings yet. So his heart must be hardened, man. So the day is coming when the Lord's going to make a move on him. Read on.
Another one come. Why is it that thou hast sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name.
And to do the work of the Lord, you have to have tough skin, man. Because why? Your own people's going to turn their back on you, man. Your own people's going to be against you. Your own people's going to make out that you're the problem. Your own people's going to make out that they've lost opportunities because of you. So they're going to separate their company from you. They're not going to want to be around you. So now Moses going to the Lord said and asking these questions. Go ahead.
For since I came to the Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he had done evil to his people, to this people. Neither hast thou delivered thy people at all.
And Moses said, neither hast thou delivered thy people at all. But don't worry, man. The Lord's, doing it nice and slowly. He's doing it poetically and strategically. Go ahead.
Another one come. This is Exodus chapter 6 and verse 1.
And
Then
when
the
you think,
Lord said,
understand this, man, the Lord's there, man, ready to make a move. Read on.
Then the Lord said unto Moses, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh.
Lord said, now
For
shalt thou see what I shall do to Pharaoh. So now the Lord's getting confident. All right,
yeah, now it's
let me
coming.
sit a little bit. He's saying, let me sit up in my seat a little bit now. Saying, all right, then, game on. He's saying, all right, Pharaoh's, He's saying, all right, Pharaoh's doing his ones and twos. Let me show Pharaoh about my ones and twos, man. Read on.
For with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. And God speak unto Moses and say unto him, I am the Lord, and
Listen, man.
I
Now the Lord say, look, I am the Lord, man. Sometimes when you have to let a man know who you are, the Lord's letting him know who he is, man. Like, you see, like, the white man's small on the scale, man. All the Arabs, the Chinese, these Egyptians, they're all small on the scale, man. To us, we look at them like there's something big, something powerful, and something mighty, man. And the Lord's saying, look, I'm the Lord, man. The Lord's letting Moses know who he is. Like, sometimes we don't even need to worry about these other nations because we know who the Lord is, man. The Lord can destroy every last one of them, man. Every last one of them. He can wipe them all out in a second, man. They're small compared to him. Only we think the big. We give them more credit than they deserve. Like, we give all of them more credit than they deserve, man. Like at Speaker's Corner, these damn East Indians thought, they was gonna attack us and take us. Listen, it's not gonna happen, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm taking about 20 Pakistanis on my own, Salakia. I'm taking 20 on my own. I would have said to that day I would have said, Quatazara, Arbantazara, but you like take a seat and I'll do this by myself. Because listen, man, these Pakistanis is so weak. Like they make out like they're strong, but I'm telling you, you hit them once, it's over with. They do all this boxing and kickboxing, but they don't have heart. What you'll find is most of them have no heart whatsoever, man. Really, they only do kickboxing because they're scared of black people. And they do it to give themselves the advantage. But chances are it don't work anyway. Listen, man. Do you think in a real fight, I'm gonna give you time to go into your kickboxing stance and all of this nonsense? That's Ariella when he to his boxing stance one day. I don't give niggas time for that shit. I don't give them time for that. Like, listen, to give a man time to go into his boxing stance and kickboxing stance on the street, you're out your mind, man. This is what you do. You rush them and give them no time, man. Just charge at them, but read on before we get too off topic.
Verse 3. And I appear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, but by my name, Salakia.
Go ahead.
Yahweh, right?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
By my name, Yahweh, was I not known to them.
Meaning what the Lord's saying here is they didn't ask me questions. They didn't question me. They just followed my orders because Moses kept coming back to the Lord saying, Lord, why did you send me? You ain't delivered your people yet. You ain't done this. You ain't done that yet. The Lord saying, look, man, them niggas didn't ask me nothing. They didn't ask my name. They didn't ask nothing. They just followed my orders. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And I have also established my covenant with them to
And
give
he's letting
them.
you know he established his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Lord is letting Moses know, look, I'm the Lord. Don't question me on nothing, man. You just go follow my orders. You do what I say. Go ahead. And he's letting
to
Moses
give
know
them,
destroy them Egyptians in time. Go ahead.
to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage, wherein they were stranger.
Go ahead.
And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel,
And the Lord
whom
hears
the,
our groaning. We should not think the Lord don't hear us. The Lord hears the groaning of the children of Israel. You think the Lord don't hear you crying your eyes out every night? You think the Lord don't hear you crying about how you're oppressed, how you can't get a job, how you don't want to be on drugs no more, how you're depressed, how you feel suicide? The Lord hears all these things, man. The Lord hears the groaning. Sometimes you think, yo, I'm in the dark all alone. When you ain't all alone, man. The Lord is with you if you want him to. Sometimes people say, oh, I just need to be on my own. The thing is this, man. You ain't on your own. You're with a demon, man. And this demon wants you alone. You think, okay, I'm going to lock myself in my room. I'm depressed, so I'm going to lock myself in this bedroom by myself. You're not by yourself, man. There's a demon sitting beside you that you don't see, man. There's a demon in you that you don't see. And this demon is drawing you away from everybody that's there to save you. This demon wants you locked alone in the room by itself so it can have you to itself, taking drugs and pills and smoking and being an alcoholic. That's what the demon wants, man. In your mind, you're thinking, I'm by myself. There's a demon with you, man. How about you be with your brothers? But read on before we go off topic.
and I have established my covenant with with them. Salaki. Verse 5. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage. And I have remembered my covenant. Wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the bondage,
And he said,
burden of
say to the children of Israel, I'm the Lord, and I will bring you out of bondage. And we go to camp and we say
like a
this, man.
burden.
So I can say that again.
The word was burdens. I say bondage. Salakia for
No,
that,
sir.
sir.
No, sir. And the Lord sees our burdens, man. Everything that we go through. And the Lord's going to deliver us out of this bondage, man. And that's what we say when we go to camp. We say, yo, though your conditions are horrible right now, it's not going to be this way forever. But black people are so beat down and depressed and so at the bottom that any words of good tidings they don't want to hear, man, because they don't believe there's nothing good out there for black people. They don't believe that there's nothing good awaiting for black people because their whole life, their great granddad, grandparents, all of them, all they've known is slavery and oppression. So they believe, well, black people have been cursed from the get-go. That's what they believe. They don't believe that Solomon was black and all of them things. Read on.
And I will redeem you, uh, and I will bring you out of under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage,
And
and
he'll
I
rid us
will
out of bondage. And the time's coming when we're going to be out of bondage again. If you don't see that we're in slavery right now, you're out your mind, man. This life that we live, listen, just because we ain't got the chains on us and whatnot, we're still in slavery, man. We're still in the land that ain't ours, speaking the language that ain't ours, dress code that ain't ours. We don't know what rightfully belongs to us. Why? Because all these things were stripped from us, man. So we could lose our culture, we could lose our identity, and then now we do what? We speak the Queen's English, man. We speak the Queen's English, and we don't know where we're originally from. We don't know our original language, our culture. We don't know the food we originally ate. We didn't know none of that. Why? Because they took all of that away from us. And now we live like Englishmen. Now we live like Englishmen, but we the wrong color to be Englishmen. We the wrong color to be Englishmen. Because listen, man, even when you apply for a job, they ask you what's your nationality. They have a black Caribbean on there. Listen, man, If it's a good paid job, man, I'm gonna start ticking white British, man. I identify. Listen, if a man can identify as a woman, surely I can identify as white British, man. If the job's paying right, they're only giving white people jobs. Well, on these job applications, Ira, from now we're gonna tick white British. I'm we get the job. When we go to the interview, they're gonna be looking at us like, huh? I thought you was white British. I'm gonna say, oh no, I'm not white British. I just identify as white British when it comes to jobs and money. When it comes to these jobs, I identify as that. I guarantee you they'll get you sectioned. But when a man wants to be a woman, they don't section him, man. Listen, man. Listen, my car's a what? My car's a Scirocco, so I might just put an auto trader for 100 grand and say it's a Scirocco, but I identify this car as, give me an expensive car, Quattro. Listen, I identify this as a Ferrari. You're going to be looking at me like, if I put a Ferrari badge on there, you're going to be looking at me like I'm crazy, man. So allowing a man to think he's a woman is the craziest thing in the world. But this world teaches you like, no, however they feel. If a man feels like a woman, that means he's a woman. Well, I feel like my 2 liters are a 6 liter until I press the gas and it doesn't move like a 6 liter. You can feel however you want. Whatever you feel doesn't mean it's right. I feel that my 2 liter diesel is a petrol until I drive it in town and I get a fine in the post. Until I get a fine in the post saying you've drove in the clean air zone, I can't write back in the letter and say, well, my car's a diesel, but I identify it as a petrol. They ain't gonna let me get away with that, man. The white man likes to bend all these rules, which makes no sense, man. And this is why we need to hurry up and get out of this place. But I read on Ira.
Canada one can. And I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with a great joy.
When the Lord stretches out his arm, people die, man. When the Lord stretches out his arm, people die. And that's how the Lord is going to redeem us. He redeemed us with a stretched out arm. And the Egyptians had to die, man. What happened to God loves everybody? God don't love everybody. Because at this stage, God showed who he loved and who he hated, man. And God loved the Israelites and he hated the Egyptians. So he killed them to save what he loved, man. So don't give me no, for God so loved the world when you don't even know what it means. The world is Israel, man. Everybody else outside of the nation of Israel is non-existent, man. They ain't part of what our world. They're in their own world, man. And the Lord's about to shake their world up, man. He's about to shake their world up and it needs shaking up. And we're supposed to sit back and enjoy the ride. Read on.
Canada one can, sir. And with great judgment.
And with
and
what?
I will
with great
and
judgment,
with great judgment.
And with great judgment. Go ahead.
And I will take you to me for a people.
And the Lord
and
said he's
I
going to take
will
people because now everybody was looking at us like we ain't a people. We was just slaves. We was good for nothing. It was divided. And now the Lord's gathering us back as a people. We're going to be the superpower on the face of the earth, man. We're going to be the top nation on the face of the earth, like we was once upon a time before we started following all the other nations and going off and doing everything the Lord told us not to do. Go ahead.
And I will take you to me for a people, and I will be to you a God. And ye shall know that I am the Lord your God, which
Not everybody.
brings
God. Go ahead.
your God, which bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you in unto the land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham, to Isaac and Jacob. And
the Lord promised a land to us, and now we're sitting in England. Why? Because when we had this land, what did we do? We wanted to copy the other nations, and we wasn't supposed to do that, man. So now you find yourself in England, riddled with the COVID, man. Riddled with COVID, sitting in England somewhere. Why? Because we didn't want to serve the Lord. But give me Exodus 12 and 1. Let's jump to Exodus 12 and 1 real quick.
Canada one council. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 1. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
So now it
It
says this
shall
month shall be to you the beginning of months, meaning what? The beginning of months is could be end of March or April, depends when it lands. So it's usually April. Go ahead. So Passover is what? The beginning of months. Go ahead.
and it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the tenth day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of.
They would take every man a lamb according to the house. So now, back then, we was getting ready to keep the Passover. Go ahead.
To the house of their father, a lamb for a house.
So now, obviously, based on your eating, you'll take a lamb. If one lamb was big enough for your family, one lamb will do. You needed two, you get two. You needed half, you go share one with somebody else. So that's how it works. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take according to the number of the souls.
If his house be
Every
too little,
man.
what do? Share it with your neighbor. Why? Brotherhood, man. That's what we have in here. Brotherhood. Imagine this. I've got 5 lambs and I only need 2. Nah, man. Go share with your neighbor, man. Get me? That's what we have in here. Brotherhood. Go ahead. Now we're
Every
getting ready to
man.
go to the Passover, man. Brotherhood brings the price down. I'm gonna tell you how brotherhood brings the price down. Because if brothers share a room, guess what? It's cheaper in your pocket, man. Because you both split the bill. Brotherhood helps in every way in life, man. I like how brotherhood don't help. Because it means now you're paying full price when you could have just, shared and. So yeah, brotherhood helps with life, man. Brotherhood helps every day in life. We're about to be at the Passover, man. Come April 15th. Go ahead. The whole time, I don't even know if there's. Listen, I'm sure the rooms all sold out in a day, man. That's how full it is, man. Listen, that Passover, you're gonna have like probably 10 niggas to one room, top and tail and everything. So niggas gonna top and tail. One man lying down on the floor, one man here, there. Listen, man, the Passover gets rough, man, and it's beautiful. You know why? Because Christ and them done the same thing. Christ slept in the inn. Why? Because there was no room in the inn because it was around Passover time. So everyone was visiting the city of David, man, to go keep the Passover. And that's why Christ and his parents slept in the inn with the sheep and all of them things, man. That's the spirit of the Passover, man. Brotherhood. Read on. Christ slept with the sheep. Christ, there was no room in the inn, the hotel, so they slept in the barn or wherever it was. Why? Because everybody was coming from their cities to go keep the Passover. Same like the Passover now. We all coming from different cities, and that's the beauty of it, man. Knowing went to the Passover, man, and slept on the sofa. I couldn't get a room, so I slept on the floor in this room, on that room. These is brotherhood stories that you tell in 50 years to come, man. These is brotherhood stories that you tell in 100 years to come. Read on, so we can kind of get through.
Every man according. Shall I go?
And Salaki, go ahead. I was going to say so we can get through some. I keep interjecting. Salaki, go ahead.
Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish.
So you'll get a lamb of the
a male of the first year. He shall take it out from the sheep or from the goat, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening,
Go ahead.
and they shall take.
And now, this is why at the Passover we do the slaughter of the lambs, but it's symbolic. So obviously now we don't do it like a sacrifice. We just, just do it to kind of see what the brothers was doing back then. So I believe the slaughter of the lambs is, I'm sure it was the Wednesday. I'm gonna have to look at the itinerary, and then we'll find out. But yeah, there's a slaughter of the lambs there. While it is, we're so far from our culture now that brothers killing lambs, you think you'll be able to do it quite as well, man?
Yeah.
You think you'll be able to do it? You think you'll be able to grab a lamb and cut its throat? You think? You think you can do it, Ariella?
Yeah.
Serious?
I wouldn't want to, but I could. Yeah.
Yeah. You think you could do it, Iro?
Canada one cancer.
Listen,
No
I ain't doing
sweat.
that. Listen, you like do it. You like do it for me. I ain't doing that. It's lucky. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Read on. Maybe I'm too kind. Who knows? Maybe I'm too kind. Maybe I'm too kind.
No, just gotta do it. Get in there.
Innocent lamb, the little innocent lamb. Listen, maybe
Yeah.
I'm too kind.
When I was little, I saw it happen. You know.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Like in Jamaica,
And
it's just normal to do that. You just hang
yeah,
it
in
upside down.
Curacao it's normal too. We was on this vacation, and they slaughter a goat, and and cook it up for everybody.
Exactly. Back then, they would
Yeah,
just
they
hang it
was
upside
trying to hide
down.
my face, but I still got it.
Back then, they would just hang it upside down by your leg,
Yes,
throat, and blood is
just
going
like
like this,
that,
blood going everywhere.
just like that. But they collect the blood also because in Curacao, they the blood.
Yeah,
Of course, it's not lawful,
cover it.
but
Mhm.
yeah, it was what they did.
Yeah, go ahead, Ira. No, I mean Ariella.
Kind
Go
Still
ahead.
like the other one, but would you still eat the lamb?
Of course.
So then, what's the difference
Listen,
between killing it or eating
listen.
it?
I ain't touching it.
What's the difference?
No, there's no difference. But while it is, listen, maybe I don't have a strong stomach like you, but
I
nah,
wouldn't want to
nah.
kill the lamb. I wouldn't want to kill it.
Listen.
But if we were starving, I'd
Nah,
kill it.
you can kill it, but I'm just saying it's. Listen, I've been living in England for too long. You like do it on my behalf.
Yeah, yeah, there must
Love
be it.
Yes, I've been living in England. I'm too used to going in Tesco and getting my lamb. I'm too used to going in Tesco and just getting my lamb in the packet.
Hey, so like I
Yeah.
said, I would even do it for the evening dinner, No sweat, I say I wouldn't even do it for the evening dinner.
You like do it for me, but yeah, I don't like touching animals as it is. So like to even I see people stroking dogs and all of them. I don't touch animals as it is. So nah, like them things there is nah. I don't like touching animals. What do you say?
So mine.
So listen, we'll be there in a week or two. You like can kill all them lambs for me. Go ahead, Iro.
Canada one council.
I
And
ain't
the
getting no
whole
lamb.
assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and
So
on
now
the upper
you
door.
would put that blood on the house, and then the angels would see that house and pass over it. That's why they call it the Passover. So they would pass over that house because it's got the blood on there. It shows, all right, there's Israelites there. Don't attack that house. Go past the end. Attack the houses with no blood on the doorposts. Go ahead.
Canada one can, wherein they shall eat it. Verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in the night, uh, roast with fire
And
and
this
unleavened bread.
and this is how we cook the Passover. So you roast it with fire, like you basically put it on a grill and whatnot, and then you eat it with unleavened bread. The reason we have unleavened bread is why? Because when we left Egypt, we didn't get to make our bread properly, where you put your stuff in there, which makes it rise and whatnot. We just had the bread. We had to go in a hurry, because the Lord said, leave Egypt in haste. So your bread was unleavened. So we do these things today. Why? Because the Lord told us keep it as a law to remember what our brothers did back then. So that's why we do these things. That's why at the Passover we eat the lamb, the unleavened bread. Go ahead.
And with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Which is seasonings and so forth. Go ahead. So we eat the lamb with seasonings and whatnot. Some people believe bitter herbs is horse relish and all of that nonsense. When the bitter herbs is just the seasonings, you just put the right seasonings on the lamb. That's all it is. Go ahead.
Verse
When
9.
it says you eat unleavened bread and with bitter herbs, it means you just season your meat. That's it. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Eat not of the raw, no solder, all
And eat not of it raw, no sodden or with water. Go ahead. Get me. Don't be trying to boil lamb. Don't be trying to
but
boil your lamb.
roast,
Making what is it,
but
stew peas and all of that nonsense. The Passover is not stew peas and lamb stew and all that nonsense. The Passover is roasted. Most stew peas where you're pouring your kettle water in the pot. No, none of that, man. Go ahead. It doesn't work
but
like that.
roasted with fire,
Oh, roasted with fire. Go ahead.
his head with his legs, and with the pertinence thereof.
And with the pertinence thereof, man. Go ahead.
And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning.
So back then, you would let nothing of it remain until the morning. Go ahead.
So you have to eat everything up.
Yeah. At that time,
And,
yes. Go ahead.
and that which remaineth of in until the morning, ye shall burn with fire.
And you would burn it with fire. That what remains till the morning. So you wouldn't eat the next day. You just burn it. You would eat, and then you would burn up whatever's left. What remains till the next day. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins guarded, your
Loins get
shoes on.
with your shoes on your feet. So back then, because we was getting ready to leave Egypt, we had our loins girded, we had our shoes on our feet. Get me? You're not gonna eat it comfortably sitting on the reclining sofa with your shoes off, talking about I got the what is it? The itis. Talking about I got the nigger itis and all this nonsense, all these words. Is that even a real word? I got the itis. I know the itis is a real word, but the nigger part, the niggeritis. Like when the black people fall asleep after eating food. Back then, you wouldn't have no time to get the niggeritis because you would have to eat and you're getting ready to leave Egypt in haste. You ain't got no time to ungird yourself and lie down and have a nap. Like what so much of us do after eating food, lie down and have a nap. One of the best things you could do in life, to be fair. You have a big meal and have a nap. Listen, I'm all for it. Me, read on. You know them ones quarters
Son
on
of the
me.
one come. And your staff in your hand, and
With
ye
your
shall
stuff
eat, and ye shall eat it in haste.
and you shall eat
It
it in
is
haste. Why? Because we're getting ready. The Lord's getting ready to kill them Egyptians, and we're getting ready to leave Egypt. So there's no time to sit around and have the itis and fall asleep for 2 hours and snore your head off. There's no time for none of that. You eat this food, you get full, because we're getting ready to leave. We was getting ready to roll out of Egypt. Go ahead.
it is the Lord's Passover.
It is what?
It is the Lord's Passover.
It's the Lord's Passover, man. Meanwhile, while we getting ready to celebrate the Passover, Christians are getting ready to celebrate Easter, doing Easter egg hunts, putting on Easter bunny suits and bunny hopping. Imagine you see grown men in a bunny
Yeah.
suit. That's gay, man. A grown man should not be in a bunny suit, bunny hopping. That's gay, man. You should be with your loins girded, with your staff in your hand, celebrating the Lord's Passover, not in a bunny rabbit suit, bunny hopping around the room. It's disgusting, man. And that's how weak we've become. That instead of having our
Make it
loins girded and having our boots on and being men of the Lord, we'd rather be bunny hopping like a rabbit, which is gay. Read on.
so like you said, making your children search for Tammuz eggs.
Exactly. Which is childish in itself. Going on a Easter egg hunt.
Can read on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast.
Go ahead. And the Lord said he's going to pass through Egypt and kill both man and beast. And the time's coming when the Lord's going to kill the white man. And guess what? These beasts didn't do nothing, but the Lord's still killing them. Why? Because they belong to the Egyptians. And the Lord is going to kill the white man and all of them. Why? Because they belong to that race, man. Don't give me none of this. There's some good white people. I'm sure there was some good Egyptian people. I'm sure there was some good Egyptian firstborn sons. I'm sure there was some good Egyptian beasts. And the Lord killed both man and beast, man. The Lord didn't care about if there was any of them good. The Lord said, I'm going to wipe out the firstborn of their beasts and men because they oppressed the children of Israel. So they're going to cry, man. They're going to know what we went through. I read on.
Canada one can. I am the Lord. No. And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. I will execute judgment.
Yes, the Lord said that. So gangster said, I will execute judgment, man. And by that, he executed their firstborn, man. When he executed that judgment, listen, man. The Lord's nothing to play with, man. The Lord said, I will execute judgment, man. Listen. I like that word there. Read on.
Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the house where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And
it said,
the
now,
plague,
the blood on the door is a token for us. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. So you better be at the Lord's Passover, man. You better be at the Lord's Passover. So if the Lord decides to go through the city that night, you're vouched for, man. You're vouched for. The Lord sees the token of where you are, man. You better make sure you're at the Lord's Passover April 15th, man. April 15th in Orlando, Florida, man. Cocoa Beach, man. Read on. I'm telling
Canada
people I'm
one
going to me, oh, are you going to the gym beach? There's a gym beach in Florida. Someone else will be going to the gym beach. Is that where all the men walk around basically half naked? Working out at the beach half naked. Listen, man. We ain't going there for that nonsense, man. We're going there for the Lord's Passover. That's what we're going there for. We ain't going there to walk around on the gym beach. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? The gym beach where we're all thinking this is Baywatch and all that nonsense. We ain't there for none of that nonsense, man. We're there for the Lord's Passover, man. We ain't there to be walking on no beach with our toes in the sand and all this Baywatch nonsense. We're there for the Lord's Passover, man. That's what we're there for. All this toes in the sand nonsense. Yeah, there should be everything there. But read on, Ira.
Canada one can, sir. And the plague shall not be upon you.
And the what?
Upon you. You
And the
to
plague
destroy you.
Go ahead. Be at the Lord's Passover, man. We don't want that plague to be upon us. I suggest you be at the Lord's Passover April 15th, man. I know where I'm going to be April 15th. Lord allow. I know where I'm going to be. Go ahead.
Will I smite when I smite the land of Egypt?
Go ahead.
Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations.
And this is why we keep the Passover a feast to the Lord throughout our generations. This is why we keep it, man. Because it's written in the law that we must keep this a feast to the Lord throughout all our generations. Go ahead.
Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
Keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Go ahead.
Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So 7 days, unleavened bread meaning what? You have to eat a piece of unleavened bread for 7 days. 7 days you eat unleavened bread along with your meals. So you have to eat nothing with leavening for 7 days. Go ahead.
Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your house.
So now, before we fly to the Passover, especially flying from the UK, before you fly, take all the leaven out of your house, put it in your car boot or something. Because by the time you're over there in America, we're going to be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, basically, by the time we get back. So be mindful of what you can and can't eat. When you're on the plane coming back, be mindful of what food they're going to give you. Because chances are they don't care about the Passover. So on the plane, they're going to give you food with leaven in. So you have to look at the food and know what you can and can't eat, kind of thing. So every year we have a list of what you can and can't eat and what needs to come out of your house. So from that, I would say stop buying certain things like bread and whatnot, because obviously it's just going to go off by the time you come back. So
Salakia, start buying what?
now I was going to say, coming up to when we're about to fly, obviously don't buy bread and stuff because the bread's just going to go off and you can't be in your house anyway. So everything with leavening, what you do is you pull it in a big box or something and pull it in your car boot or something, because it says you have to pull it out of your house. So just pull it in your car boot or something. Just take it out of the house. Take all of it out of the house. Cereals and all. Most cereals have leavening. Take all of those out as well. So it'd be good to prep of what you can and can't eat. Listen, me and Craft, you never go wrong. Our assignment is we just have done meat and chips for the whole week. That's it. We have done meat and chips for the whole week.
Done me and what?
Done meat and chips. That's the safe option. Kebab and chips. You probably call it kebab. So yeah, that's what we do. As soon as we come off the plane, we go hit Classics and Dudley Road, kebab and chips. After that long London drive, that's the safe option. So obviously, just know what you can and can't eat, and you can't go wrong with a kebab and chips. But getting a fish and chips now, the batter has leavening, so you need to kind of know what you're eating. Certain things have leavening. The McDonald's wraps, them wraps have leavening, so you have to be mindful. Sometimes it's better to just cook at home. So I can say that again.
I say the bread of the burgers also.
So the breadcrumbs that they put on the chicken has leavening. So if you are going to eat most things, you just kind of eat at home. So yeah, usually we have a list. So soon as I get the list, I'll just get it to everyone, and then we'll know what's what. But go ahead.
Kan er gewoon kan. Salakia. We will do it. Yes. I got it. Thou shalt be ye shall put away leave out of your house. For whosoever eat leavened bread for the first day until the seventh day, thou shalt be cut off from Israel.
Listen, and if you're to eat leaven, you'll be cut off from amongst Israel, man. So that's why it's very important to know what you can and can't eat. Even if every time you go into a shop, you have to walk around with a magnifying glass. You might have to walk around with a magnifying glass and just do that, man, if it stops from eating leaven. Or if you're not sure, you just contact your camp leader. So lucky sir, can I eat this? So lucky sir, can I eat that? So lucky sir, can I eat this? That's what you rather do. Do all of that just so you know what you can and can't eat. It's better to be it's better to be unsure and find out than to just eat whatever you want. Go ahead.
So like I said, I think just like you just said back there, it's the best to just eat meat and whatever vegetables
Sorry, say
you
that
got.
again.
I say, I think just like you said before, it's just better to just eat, meat and whatever vegetables you got. You know?
Exactly, if it makes it easier for you, or if you make your own food, like dumplings with plain flour is unleavened. So if you know how to make fried dumplings or whatever with plain flour, that's unleavened. I know how to make them, so I don't know about anybody else. Go ahead, Ariella.
Plain flour. Oil don't use it.
Yeah, boiled dumplings. Yeah, you can make boiled.
Yeah, you can't make fried dumplings.
Not fried, boiled. Yeah, because that shit will fall apart. But
You can't keep plain flour in your house, though. Plain flour's got raisin agents.
nah, it depends which one you get. There's some with it and some with it. South Raisin's the one with the raisin agents in. So plain flour should be too hard.
So is it during the 7 days of unleavened?
Mm.
Are you not supposed to eat lamb?
Not for 7 days. No, you don't have to eat lamb for them 7 days of
I know
unleavened.
you don't have to.
Mm.
But is it law not to eat lamb?
Nah, there's no law. You can eat lamb
If you want.
if you want to. Yeah, if you want to. You can eat whatever you want as long as it's unleavened. So there's no law to say you can't eat lamb for 7 days. There's no law to say you must eat lamb for 7 days. If you want to eat lamb for 100 days, you're free to do it. Go ahead.
But let's like the leftovers
Mm.
from the.
Actually, use the mic because while it is, the public can't hear you on the mic. Go ahead.
Salaki other one. The leftovers from the initial ceremony, the first day of the Passover, before we start the week of unleavened bread. The leftovers from the roast lamb, we're supposed to burn. You can't save it till the next day.
No, now you can, because the reason they burnt it is because at this time they was leaving Egypt, whereas now we're not leaving Egypt. So this right here was the basically, if we go back up to the verse, hold on, hold on. Like here, it was giving you the law, like you burn it, you eat with your loins girded, you get ready to leave. Right about now, some of them things you don't have to do. Why? Because you ain't getting ready to leave nowhere, if you get what I mean. So back then, this was written at that time, for that time. You get it?
Salaki other one. I thought we were supposed to celebrate it in the spirit.
Yeah.
The same way they did.
We do by eating lamb and bread, but you don't have to burn it, because that would mean basically, if you're going to celebrate it the same way they did, that would mean you would have to put blood on your doorpost till this day. You get it?
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
But you can do if you want, but you don't have to, if you get what I mean. So basically, back then, they put that blood on their doorpost. Why? Because the angels were passing over. They ate with their staff in their hand and their loins girded and ate in haste. Like nowadays, do you need to eat Passover in a hurry? Or yes or no?
La.
There you go. The reason they ate in a hurry is because they was leaving Egypt.
Salaki other one, if I may. So does that mean then the first Passover after the sharp exit of Egypt, the first Passover we kept, or the second one, the year 12 months later, they never did none of the traditions or the ceremonies they did in the first Passover. They never marked their posts on their doors with
it doesn't say that, but we know that every other Passover, no one has left Egypt. We know they left Egypt once. So
yeah, did they celebrate it in the same tradition?
They celebrate how we celebrating it right now.
So they never got rid of the leftovers. They never marked the.
Well, it doesn't say if they did or didn't get rid of the leftovers, but the reason they got rid of the leftovers there is because they was leaving Egypt.
The Salakia other one. The reason I ask is maybe we've lost the tradition in modern times, and in ancient days they still kept it exactly the same.
That would mean if they kept it exactly the same, that means they'd have to leave Egypt 100 times. Every Passover, that means they'd have to leave Egypt. You get it? They only left Egypt once. So now it's a memorial of the Passover. So the Lord said, what the Lord told us to do is eat lamb and unleavened bread. And then the proof of this is, let's go to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. So Leviticus, the 23rd chapter is the feast day scripture. So let's quickly get that
Four or first.
Leviticus, hold on, let me get Leviticus, the 23rd chapter and see where it is.
21st.
23rd.
23rd and 1.
So now, give me Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 5. So this is what they did. So after they left Egypt, the first Passover, this is how they kept it going forward. So it's going to let you know now. So give me that Leviticus verse 5.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread.
Says what?
7 days you must eat unleavened bread.
So now it's letting you know what they done. 7 days they must eat unleavened bread. So now it doesn't say here nothing about leaving Egypt again, putting blood on your doorposts. Now you can do that. You can do that if that's what you want to do. But obviously in the law, it doesn't say you have to do that. It's telling you what you must do. It says the Lord's Passover is the 15th day of the first month. 7 days you eat unleavened bread. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye
Now,
shall do.
have a holy convocation. And hold on, let me find the next part. So now go read verse 4 again. Go read verse 4.
These are the feast of the Lord,
These are the
even
feasts. So
even
the first
holy convocations.
the first Passover when they left Egypt, they ate it in haste, in a hurry, blood on their doorposts, because they was going to leave Egypt. Whereas now, you ain't leaving nowhere. You're doing this as a memorial to remember what your ancestors done, whereas the Lord prescribed for us how to keep it in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. 7 days we eat unleavened bread. Eat lamb, unleavened bread. That's it. For 7 days. So doing the whole doing what they done when they was leaving Egypt, that would mean you'd have to run out of your house at a certain time and leave the city. That's what it means you would have, because that's what they did. They left the city. So it means you'd have to run out of your house with bread, because that's what they did. They ran out of their house with bread and left the city. So if you're trying to do it down to a T, that means you'd have to run out of the Passover with bread. You get me? So obviously, if you're saying that's how we're supposed to keep it, and you're meant to run out of Egypt with bread, whereas for ceremonial purposes, you can put the blood on your door. Like, say, for instance, for ceremonial purposes, the Feast of Tabernacles, you can sleep in the tabernacle if you want, in a booth if you want. But according to the Bible, you don't have to. It's a memorial. So the Lord prescribed for us how to keep them. You get it all.
So like the other one.
Go ahead, Ira.
But the lamb is something you should do.
Yeah, exactly.
Killing the lamb.
So, yeah, because we need to eat it. So yeah.
And you know,
So
yeah, in this day of today, nobody has really a sheep. So is it individual house? So should I? How is it?
not no. Nowadays, you have to just eat the lamb and bread. So nowadays you have to eat the lamb and bread. But back then, we was kind of governed by ourselves, so we would have our own farms where we would get our lamb. Now you have to go to some Arab farm and kill one of their sheep, by one of their lambs, and so forth. So back then, that's how we would do it. So now, till this day, we still get a baby lamb. Why? Because obviously that's our culture. A lamb without blemish of the first year. We still get that. So that's the lamb that we would have got back then. But obviously nowadays, what they done is when they left Egypt, you just don't. There's nowhere for you to leave to go to. Like, where are you going to go to? So it's the ceremonies, certain parts of it, yeah, you can do if you want to do them. But the main part is eating the lamb and bread. So you don't have to go all out and be extra, but the main part is eating the lamb and bread. So that's the requirements for the Passover. Eating the lamb and bread and being at the Passover. That's the requirements for it. Anything else before we close out? All right, then. All right, for all the clap, we're going to do the security announcements and then we out of here. We'll finish this off next week, actually. Yeah, we'll finish it off next week. Ira, just remind me what verse we finished that in Exodus next week, and we'll pick up from there.
This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We had the I.S.U.P.K started off 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, Malachi chapter 3 verses 8 to 10, means 10th in Hebrew, Maya Sha'ara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, Passover, April 15th. All Akim and Akwaf are to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. To that, say a Majim. Amajim Shabbat. Majim Barak. Yahaba Shimya
Ya
Shabrakata.
Bashem Ya Shabrakata.
How about Shimmer Shabbat Kupam?
Yajamata. Class is missed.
What for me? You oh man's Lord back some. Oh. All right, for what Ira?
Cancer. Shalom, sir.
Shalom, Yom Shabbat. Tomorrow, Captain Pressure will be here, 7 p.m.
Canada on cancer. Shalom, sir. Ya Bashem Ya Shabrakata.